It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shorman, and this is the Forum on Eagle Community Television. It's great having you watch along. Again, these programs, we record them every Monday afternoon, and if you have any ideas, questions as you're watching this, and hey, I'd like to learn about this, be sure and let me know. You can send any information or any questions you have to gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Our guest today is Nadine Sigle, and Nadine is part of a new program in Northwest Kansas, and it's been helped along by the Hansen Foundation and also part of the Kansas State Extension and Research Department, but it has to deal with vitality. So your title, Nadine, is Community Vitality Specialist.
That's right. I'm considered an Extension Associate for Community Vitality.
Well, that sounds like it's a lot of words on that, frankly, but Frank, it is one of those things that's pretty exciting for Northwest Kansas. How big of area do you cover, Nadine?
I'll cover 26 counties. It's the range that the Hansen Foundation serves, so it starts on the eastern edge with Republic, goes down to Saline County, and then clear across west to the Colorado border.
So you are busy.
On the road quite a bit, yes.
What prepared you for this kind of job? Because when you apply for something that says Community Vitality Specialist, it's like, how do you get the background to be able to do that?
Well, I first started out as an extension agent for Osborne County, and then in the Post Rock District, worked for 5 counties in Post Rock District. And community vitality or community development was always an interest of mine. In the county, we started out by doing some things like the Osborne County Leadership Program and the recycling programs. And when you start thinking about it, so many of the things that we do within extension relate back to community development or community vitality or the betterment of people's lives.
And this fits right in with that. So what was your first day? You've been on the job since about the first of the year. What have you done so far? Have you made an impact yet, or are you just getting started on that process?
Just getting started on that. Really, it takes getting out and meeting the people, getting into communities and starting to set things up. Have met with Department of Commerce several different times so that they could introduce me to different economic development directors. Have been into several cities where I've started talking about some of the programming that we hope to do.
One of the things I know that you have to set up is at least some baseline. I think it may be one of those things that people just know that our communities need to have more vitality. We want to be able to grow for the next 5 years and 10 years. Sometimes you don't know which direction is right, though. Are you getting a baseline for everybody?
You know, each community is going to be different there and where they're at with things. So really, the easiest place for me to start out is to go in and see if they have done any type of planning or how long it's been since they have. One of the things that I hope to redevelop is a First Impressions program, and that's where you go into a community with a group of people from another neighborhood and look at it from kind of a secret shopper standpoint. And you would look at the entrances into the communities, how friendly the businesses are, how the clientele or the employees greet you, that type of thing. You look at it from the standpoint of housing and residential, the different types of services that they have to offer, and then develop a program that you're going to take back to them, or a presentation which would be shown at a public forum then. And from that, it gives them a basis of where maybe to start with some new planning efforts that they might want to do.
Does every community want this? Or has that been because I think that's a great idea, because so many times we get used to what we have. And you can drive by the same dilapidated whatever, and it just becomes normal. But somebody coming into our towns, whether it be Hayes or whether it be Oberlin or whether it be Goodland, wherever, you just realize, boy, we need to really clean that up, and our people need to do better. Not every community wants to have you come in and do that, would be my guess.
That's right. And there's no way that I could service every community. It is one of those things that you do have to let them know up front that they may hear some things that they may not want to hear. But they have to be willing to accept that in order to be able to move ahead.
Well, Nadine, do communities need to call you?
Yeah, they could call me, or they could email me. My phone number that I could be reached at is 785-346-6256. My email address is nsigle@ksu.edu.
Now, as you look at doing this, it's a big area. How many communities are in Northwest Kansas? Have you counted that yet as you've driven by?
No, the Hansen Foundation did provide me with a list of a lot of the different community contacts and everything. No, I have not tried to count the number of communities. Ideally, in the first year, it's recommended maybe that I try to find 3 or 4 pilot communities to start out with to see how we can set things up and get things moving. First impressions, maybe if I could do 6 to 10 within the first year, that would be good.
Have you been surprised by people either too many calling you or not enough? I mean, what have you found? Because this will be informative. Some people are, well, I've never heard of Nadine doing this thing. And so there may be some people say, I want to be a part of this process.
Yeah, no, or this is completely new. The phone has not been ringing off the wall, but actually that's been okay because we've had a few leads ahead of time. Part of the focus of this is to work on the Kansas Pride program, which is a community development program through K-State Research and Extension. And in Northwest Kansas, there were 6 to 8 communities already that had expressed interest. And so those are ones that I can go to right away and say, hey, this is what I have to offer. Are you interested? And yeah, I've had several of those communities say, yeah, we want to hear more about this.
Well, that's going to be exciting as you do, because we're going to take a break here, Nadine, and we'll come back in just a little bit. We'll talk about maybe some specific things that you have after the first impression of what you have on the plan and how long this program will last and how you want to build on that for the next few years. Our guest is Nadine Sigle, and she is a part of a great program to build vitality in Northwest Kansas. We'll be back with more after this from Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to the second half of our program. We're talking about vitality of our communities in Northwest Kansas. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. Nadine, we went into the break talking about, those sort of things that you're doing in communities, like the First Impression program. But once that gets done, what happens next? Because you now have the first impressions. Our people are pretty friendly. Our town is pretty clean. People should move here. We should be vital, but we're not. Mm-hmm. What's next? Really,
that next step is going to be to get them to do some planning. And I'd like to look at it from a standpoint of something called strategic doing, where we're going to ask them to look at where they want to be in the future, how they're going to accomplish this, and then break it down into different types of goals of what could we do, what should we do, what will we do. And then once you've determined what you will do, then go on ahead and use kind of a loose-knit collaboration structure. A lot of times when we get into community planning, people can get meeting to death, or they develop a strategic plan and then that plan's never followed. It's put up on the shelf and not come back to. With strategic doing, we like to look at it from the standpoint of setting 30 to 60-day goals and then coming back to that group of people and saying, hey, what have you accomplished? Where are you at with this? So in a sense, it's almost like being a community coach.
So who do you work for or with? Is it the chamber? Is it community leaders? City council?
It's going to be different in every community. In the really small towns, they may have a small city council, they won't have a chamber, or it may be a pride group that's there. And so it's whatever group of citizens or volunteers that have come together that are excited and want to move things ahead. In some of your bigger communities, it may be the Chamber of Commerce that you're working with. In your medium-sized communities, it might be city council that is asking you to help them a little more.
Well, that's interesting. I guess that's going to be one of the challenges, I know, as you go to these different communities. You have a lot of enthusiasm, I can tell. You're fired up about this program. Do you have anything to base that on and to grow from other programs like this anywhere else that you're saying, boy, this was done in Northwest Minnesota and it was phenomenal, and so I'm going to do the same things? Or are you just doing this with your own enthusiasm and the help of the Hansen Foundation?
You do some research on it so you have something behind you to back things up. The First Impressions program came from the University of Wisconsin, and so it's been done across the state, different places. The Strategic Doing Purdue University developed that, and it's something that I'm just starting to become more familiar with. And then you just kind of base a lot of it upon gut instinct from what people are telling you that they want.
When you go about this, K-State is obviously a part of what goes on in the background because they're part of the program and setting up, and they have a lot of research in Northwest Kansas and Kansas overall. What people want can sometimes be a challenge because dollars are always there. If you have a plan, are there other dollars that you can go get to help them develop those plans, help them look better, help them come up with a program maybe to help their employees or the employees in the town learn to greet visitors in a better way? Are there options like that?
There are different options that way, and one of the unique opportunities with this program is that Hansen Foundation is backing that. Hansen Foundation really would like for communities to do planning, and then once they have their goals set, to come to them with funding requests. And when you start looking at some programs for customer service type things, there's a couple of different ones that are available right now. Kansas Tourism actually just developed an online program where employees can have their employees go online, take a 2-hour training for customer service type things. University of Nebraska has a program that they call the red carpet service. It's kind of like rolling out the red carpet and how you greet customers and things. And so those are 2 of them that I'm looking at right now to try to help things.
Well, you have a lot of things, resources you can bring together for those communities. Do you think it'll be small communities, big communities? Because I could see small communities that don't have the resources. You say, boy, this is a chance for me to have somebody help get this done in a smaller community.
Ideally, I think in Western Kansas it is going to be more the smaller communities that are going to take advantage of it. Your larger communities have more of a foundation set up and in place already to know how to work with their volunteers in the different groups.
How does age play into this? Because some of our smaller counties, and not only in Northwest Kansas, but Kansas in general, the population is such that may not be conducive to trying to figure out how to do something new. How do you beat, because I could see that as one of your biggest challenges.
That is going to be a challenge, especially where you're trying to have some transition of leadership. But if we can promote community vitality, community improvement, then it makes the communities look more attractive, so hopefully young families will want to move back with the internet. They're very capable of being able to hold down jobs from within their home, within the smaller communities now, and still operate.
Well, that'll be interesting to see how that does. 2 years down the road, what would you like the result to be? If you were to dream ahead here a little bit, you're putting a lot of energy into this, and 2 years, what would you like to see?
Oh, ideally, 2 years down the road, I would have liked to have worked with, say, 10 to 15 different communities where there would have been in the nature of 10 to 15 different projects completed. And by projects, it could be something that they start out small with. It may be the addition of a community garden or a farmer's market, or maybe they've come along and realize, hey, we need to have street signage up. These are all types of things that in the smaller communities that they could easily do, and that it's the starting of the process.
Well, good luck as you do that. Once again, how do they get a hold of you? Somebody's watching this and they say, boy, my hometown needs this help, or somebody we know. Where do they go to find you, and how do they get a hold of you?
Again, my name is Nadine Sigle. My phone number is 785-346-6256. An email address where I can be reached at is nsigle@ksu.edu. And we'd really like to thank the Hansen Foundation for allowing this opportunity for Northwest Kansas, and look forward to working with them and all the communities.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for those of us that have lived in, and we have resources here in Northwest Kansas that we want to see grow, to have this taking place. And the Hansen Foundation obviously found a good person to be in charge of it.
Well, thank you.
Nadine Sigle is our guest today here on the Forum program. And we want to thank you for watching. Thanks HaysMed for their sponsorship of the program. You're watching the ECTV Forum on Eagle Community Television, our community connected.
HaysMed is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, HaysMed is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. HaysMed, helping people be healthy.